Today I'm bringing you a beautiful artisan rustic no-knead bread. This one's got that mild sweetness, nuttiness, and a little bit of spiced undertones going about it. I've made it a few times. Last week we had it with some delicious fruit salad, cheese and herb butter. I've made it again today. Today I tweaked the recipe a little. It is absolutely delicious and easy to make. In your mixing bowl, go in with 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. Total water, 330 grams of lukewarm water, but we're only going to add half first here. And then go in with 1 packet, which is 7 grams of instant or brewer's yeast. Give them a very gentle mix. 2 or 3 minutes, let them rest. It'll start to foam up a little bit. You know your yeast is working, of course. Then go in with your flour. In today's recipe, I am mixing 2 types of flour. Italian 00 flour and also whole wheat. You can change your Italian 00 to all-purpose and whole wheat. Now the recipe is all in the description. The whole wheat flour just added a hearty texture. Then go in with 1 teaspoon of dried chilli. It doesn't add any spiciness but a gentle warmth. Then go in with 2 teaspoons of sea salt or kosher salt. Here I have fennel seeds. We're going to use half a teaspoon. We're going to crush them in a mortar and pestle and add them in. This gives a beautiful licorice flavor and it balances out the rest of the ingredients. Mix them all together. Halfway through for about 20 seconds. Then go in with the balance of your water. Please be sure that the water is actually lukewarm. Just gentle to the touch. If you notice from my previous bread recipes, I've increased the water here just a little. It's because we have added whole wheat flour. Whole wheat flour naturally draws more moisture, so I've balanced that out. Then add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and mix them all together. It will form a kind of a sticky dough. Something like this. Now cover them and leave them aside to rest. If your temperature is warm, you can just leave them outside, but I always keep them in the oven with the lights on because this is the perfect proofing temperature. Now let's prepare the rest of our ingredients. Here I have dates, dried cranberries, and walnuts. Now we're going to prep this to be used later. I'm going to add 50 grams of each, the dried cranberries, and I'm going to soak the cranberries in a little bit of lukewarm water just for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, here I have about 7 to 8 dates. You're going to weigh about 60 to 62 grams. It's because after pitting them, it's going to become 50 grams. And also 50 grams of walnut. Now pit all your dates. Once that's done, leave them aside first. We're going to first chop the walnuts so that our board doesn't get sticky with the dates. Just give them a rough chop. This is really going to add a very good balance to this bread. Keep them aside. Now chop up your dates into smaller pieces. And keep this aside as well. Now our cranberries are soaked for 10 minutes. Remove them, put them on a paper towel and give them a gentle pat just to dry them up a little. Now give them a rough chop as well. You don't want too small or too big pieces. That's it. Add them together with the dates, and this we are going to leave them in the fridge because when it's cold, it's easier to handle. Now after 40 to 45 minutes, bring out your dough. Notice they've started to double in size and become shaggy. Now, here we're going to do our first set of stretch and fold, making sure to wet your hands all through this process. Now what we're going to do is just lift up one side, bring it to the opposite direction, then turn your bowl quarter way and lift, bring to the opposite side. You will do four of this each quarter. This will help strengthen the gluten structure and also build tension to the dough. That's it. Okay, cover them again and leave them to rest, at least for another 40 to 45 minutes. It's always best to actually understand your dough. If you feel it needs another 5 to 10 minutes to gain strength and structure, then just leave them a little longer. Now here is the second set. Now the second set, before we do the stretch and fold, add in 1/3 of your fruit mixture, then also 1/3 of the walnut. Wet your hands, and now we're going to do the second set of stretch and fold. Same thing, lift up one side, bring to the opposite direction, turn your bowl quarter ways, lift. This will continue to build and strengthen the dough. Now the final one. All right, cover, leave them to rest again for another 40 to 45 minutes. Now this is the third set. You notice it's gained more strength now. Now we will do the same thing, add another 1/3 of the fruits, 1/3 of the walnuts, and stretch and fold again. By this time, your dough would have gained much more strength. That's it. Now we're going to leave them covered and rest roughly again another 40 to 45 minutes. Try to understand your dough because this is the best way in making bread. Cover, leave them to rest. After 45 minutes, remove, keep them outside. Now bring your Dutch oven to the oven. We're going to heat this up for 45 minutes on 230, high temperature of course, with the fan on for at least 45 minutes. In the meantime, take another bowl, bring out some parchment paper. You're just going to lightly crush them up. This is easier for handling, and that's it. Place them in that bowl. Now dust the bottom with a little bit of flour. Keep this aside and let's handle our dough. Now this is the final stretch and fold, which is the fourth one, right? Okay, here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add 1/3 of each, but leave a little bit for later for the topping. I have the balance. I'm going to use most of it, but I'm just going to keep a little for the topping later. Add your dates and the cranberries. Add your walnuts as well. Leave very little walnuts just for the topping later. Now, we're going to do the same thing. This is our final stretch and fold. Wet your hands, stretch, bring over, turn quarter way, same thing. Stretch, build over. You will notice by this time your dough has gained so much more strength and it can actually handle and hold its own weight. That's it. Okay, now lift up and bring this over to the prepared parchment paper. Cover, leave this to rest while our Dutch oven is heating up. This will take about 40 to 45 minutes. Now after 45 minutes, we are going to prep our dough for baking. Here we are going to add the balance of our dates and our nuts. A little bit of our dates and all the nuts, whatever's balanced. And here I'm also going to go in with 1/4 teaspoon of crushed fennel seeds. Just a quarter will do, crush them up. And 3 or 4 pinches of dried chilli. This is going to be such a beautiful bread. Trust me on this one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly dust them with flour. And with a laying blade or a scissors, just give them a very mild cut through. Just 1 centimeter deep will do. I'm doing a cross cut. Now bring out your Dutch oven from the oven very quickly, lift up the parchment paper, put in your dough, cover, bring it back to the oven. Now we're going to bake it covered for 35 minutes on high temperature with normal bake mode, not the fan. Then after 35 minutes, remove the cover, lower the temperature to 205, put them back in the oven and bake for another 10 to 15 minutes until your desired darkness. Immediately put them onto a wire rack to cool completely for roughly about 30 to 45 minutes before you cut through them. Here you have a beautiful and delicious dates, cranberry, walnut, fennel, dried chili. It's such an amazing flavor combination. And also, if you have access to Italian 00 flour, I highly recommend you to use it. But if otherwise, well, all-purpose works as well, except that it gives a higher chewiness to the dough. This is a very delicious bread, perfect even on its own, and delicious with herb butter. I've added fresh thyme and fresh basil to my butter, and it was such an amazing combination as well. I'll add links to my easier bread recipes as well towards the end of this video. You might also want to check out those. Until the next time, take good care.